Moses excels all pious men by Louis Ginzberg. The special distinction that God granted to Moses at his death was well merited, for Moses outweighed all other pious men. 961. When Moses died, Adam appeared and said, "I am greater than thou, for I was created in God's image." But Moses replied, "I am nevertheless superior to thee, for the glory that thou didst receive from God was taken from thee, whereas I retain the radiance of my face forever." Noah then said to Moses, "I am greater than thou, for I was preserved out of the generation of the flood." Moses replied, "I am superior to thee, for thou didst save thyself alone, and hadst not the power to save thy generations. But I saved myself, and also saved my generation at the time when they transgressed with the golden calf." Abraham said to Moses, "I am greater than thou, for I fed the wanderers." Moses, "I am superior to thee, for thou didst feed the uncircumcised, whereas I fed the circumcised. And thou, moreover, didst feed them in a land of habitations, whereas I fed Israel in the desert." Isaac said to Moses, "I am greater than thou, for I bared my neck upon the altar and beheld the face of the Shekinah." Moses replied, "Still am I superior to thee, for thou didst indeed behold the face of the Shekinah, but thine eyes grew dim, whereas I talked with the Shekinah face to face, and yet neither did mine eyes grow dim nor my strength wane." Jacob said, "I am greater than thou, for I wrestled with the angel and conquered him." Moses replied, "Thou didst wrestle with the angel upon thy territory, but I mounted to the angels into their own territory, and still they feared me." 962. Joseph said to Moses, "I am greater than thou, for my master's wife could not tempt me to sin." Moses replied, "Still am I superior to thee, for thou didst restrain thyself from a strange woman, whereas I abstained from intercourse with my own wife." 963. The degree of Moses' superiority over the other pious men can be seen by following. Adam died because he has been seduced by the serpent, whereas Moses fashioned a serpent out of brass, at sight of which everyone that had been bitten by a snake recovered. Noah offered a sacrifice to God that was accepted, but he himself was not admitted to God's presence. When Moses, on the other hand, offered a sacrifice in Israel's name, God said to him, "Know that twice daily I shall dwell with ye." Abraham had been the cause for Israel's bondage in Egypt, for that was the punishment for his words, "Whereby shall I know that I shall inherit the land?" Moses, on the other hand, it was that delivered Israel out of Egyptian bondage. Jacob indeed conquered in his struggle with the angel, but the blow that the angel dealt him put Jacob's thigh out of joint forever, whereas Moses inspired the angels with such fear that as soon as they beheld him in heaven, they fled. But Moses not only surpassed all other human beings, he surpassed also the entire creation that God had brought forth in 6 days. On the first day God created light, but Moses mounted into heaven and seized the spiritual light, the Torah. On the second day God created the firmament, whereby he decreed that the earth was not to enter the realm of the firmament, nor the firmament the realm of the earth. But Moses scaled the firmament even though he belonged to earth. On the third day God created the sea, but as soon as the sea caught sight of Moses, it retreated before him affrighted. On the fourth day God created the sun and the moon to illuminate the earth, but Moses said to God, "I do not wish sun and moon to give light to Israel, thou thyself shalt do so." And God granted his prayer. On the fifth day God created the animals, but Moses slaughtered whatever animals he wanted for Israel's needs. When therefore God laid all the objects of creation on one side of the scales, and Moses upon the other, Moses outweighed them. 964. Moses was justly called the man of God, for he was half man and half God. 965. But not in this world alone was Moses the great leader and teacher of his people. He shall be the same in the future world, in accordance with the promise God made him shortly before his death. God said, "Thou that didst lead my children in this world, shalt also lead them in the future world." 966.